Hi everyone, I just wanted to put together a quick tutorial on how to take a simple sketch from Autodesk Sketchbook and make it more easy to get it ready to be cut out in vinyl by the Brother Design and Cut series of vinyl cutters using a tool called Inkscape, which is a free open source vector tool. So it's going to start out in Autodesk Sketchbook here using my brush tool. I like to use the inking pen for this. You're welcome to use whatever tool you're comfortable with. Chisel tip pen, can add, all these can add different effects. Anyway, play around with these. I'm going to go ahead and start with the inking brush. And I'm just going to write my name kind of bold here, and a nice solid black and white kind of silhouette cutout, nice contrasty cutout. From there, I'm going to go ahead and select it using the rectangle tool, and I'm going to hit edit copy. Now I'm going to take this copy bitmap. Sorry, I should probably specify. So when you're drawing in Sketchbook, you're drawing in what's called a raster image, which is a grid of dots. As you zoom in more, things become pixelated because the grid becomes larger. You can't color smaller than a dot. What we're going to do is take it over into Inkscape, which I've got open here, and we're going to paste it in there, and you'll be able to see here. I'll put this here. You'll be able to see as I zoom in on this, you can see what I mean by pixelated. See how it becomes kind of fuzzy squares. It is doing some smoothing on it to make the squares fuzzy, but the idea is that it's a whole bunch of tiny squares. And what we want is a vector, which is a nice clean line. So what we're going to do is take this image here and go up to Path and say Trace Bitmap. You'll have quite a few options in there that you can kind of play around with, but for the most part, the default brightness cutoff is going to work when we're doing these black and white images. You can hit Update or turn on Live Preview as you tweak these settings. Basically, it's going to make it fuzzy or less fuzzy. Pick up more subtle gradients of gray. If this were a really stark gradient, we'd see a significant change, but really it's just a slightly fuzzy edge. And this preview is not particularly high resolution. So I'll go ahead and accept that and hit OK, and you can see my outline changed because it did vectorize that. And again, all these settings you can play with them, but as we zoom in, you can see the sharpness stays about the same. It doesn't get less sharp. So now that we've got that, we can remove the bitmap and save this as I'm going to save this as Nick. This was an earlier playing around with it. I'm just going to save that as an SVG, scalable vector graphics formatting. I think that means, maybe it means something like that. That can be imported into the Brother Canvas Workshop. Sorry, should have had that loaded up. And from there you can go File, Import SVG FCM. I'm not familiar with the FCM, but SVG is a very common vector graphics format. And we'll hit Open, and we can see my signature appeared up there. We can scale it up, scale it to whatever size we want, and that's pretty much how we prep it to be cut out. Hope that's helpful to you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Always willing to help. All right, thanks guys. Have a nice evening or morning or whatever.